Oh, those sound effects are so good. I love it. I love it. Hello and welcome to the Hooniverse podcast, episode 331-ish, I think. I'm your host, Jeff Glucker. I'm joined by my man, Ron Ball. What's up, Ron?
Hey, what's happening? When are we going to get some intro theme music? The applause is nice. But
Let's see. There's some here. Riverside FM has this. Let's. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Enough of that shit. That's funny. How's it going? How's your week?
Good, man. Man, the last 7 days honestly felt like a month. It was wild. Going to Atlanta. I mean, really starting with the Hoonigan unveiling, whatever that was last Monday. So I guess the last 10 days or so.
Right.
But yeah, last Thursday flew to Atlanta for, to visit family, see Killer Mike, to go to the Alpine Volks Fair, I think it's called. The show that Rotoform sponsored in Helen, Georgia, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hours north of, it's just 75 miles north of Atlanta. But that was, I spent 2 days or like a day and a half in Helen. Actually, I spent exactly 24 hours, but it felt like a week. It was a good time, man. But yeah, just traveling and, work stuff and having to rush back and put on a presentation today. It was a lot, but managed to fit it all in, and I feel like we crushed it.
That's what it's all about then. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Good for you. I'm my wife's away all week on a workshop in Florida, and then it ended today. But we have a college friend. One of her former roommates is down in Palm Beach, so she popped over there. She's going to spend the weekend with her friend.
Nice.
It's like I know why my wife is so tired by 9 o'clock every night because it's hard. It's hard because we have the foster puppy here.
Right.
And that dog got neutered on Tuesday. So It's like you have to corral a puppy where they're like, oh, no jumping and playing. Sure, that's easy for a puppy. Puppy's a maniac. My arms are, because puppies don't know that they can't bite things. So my hands are fucking cut up. Dealing with all the stuff, just the general school stuff with my daughter. It's the second to last week. What's that?
Is he a conehead?
The dog? Yeah. Well, pick the dog up and I'm like, oh, does he get a comb? They're like, no, he wasn't really biting or anything, so he doesn't need it. And I get home, I'm like, he wasn't biting because he was fucking on anesthesia.
Right.
It's a puppy. So we had one here, and I put it on the dog, and he already broke it, and I've had to tape it. So the cone is held together with tape right now, but it's working, and he's not attacking the area. But it's like day 3 or whatever after the surgery. So, he's like, the energy is there. It's like, fuck. And I can't take him on walks to knock that energy down, but whatever. We'll get through it. My wife will be home Sunday. We'll get through it. But yeah, I know why she's tired at 9 o'clock every night. I sent her that text and she just laughed. But whatever. It's fine. I can do this. Let's roll in. I have a question for you that I think hits home for both of us. I'm posing a topic. When does it end with Project Cars? When does it end?
Oh my God, it doesn't. And really it doesn't. I'm not the most perfect example because, well, maybe I am. I don't know. But I've got one project car that I feel like I'll never be satisfied with, and I have yet to really enjoy. That's the Mustang. It's just such a anomaly, and it's just so far outside the box that,
right.
There's no okay, well, now I've accomplished this, and I'm able to do this with it, and I'm totally satisfied. There's always going to be a next step and another hurdle, and it's the kind of car that every modification begets another modification. It's like, okay, I did this, so I need to do this. I upgraded this, it makes more power, so I need, a stronger transmission, beefier rear axles, this and that. There's not a lot left on the list for that car once it's running, but I just don't think I'll ever be satisfied with it. It's the kind of thing where it's just it looks so outrageous and kind of intimidating that I'll just constantly be in search of more power, more performance to kind of justify and match the appearance of the car. So
Right.
I don't know. That's my I don't want to say bummer. Like I'm super happy with that car when I can enjoy it, which is few and far between. But I think once I nail a couple little things that I'll finally be able to enjoy it. But it's just going to constantly spotlight things that could be upgraded, tuned, tweaked to my liking.
Mm.
And then on the flip side is the Tahoe, which I'm like, I have all these parts and stuff that I want to throw at it, but I'm like, am I going to fuck it up? Like, do I really want to do this? Like, I think it's fine as it is, and I should just leave well enough alone. And because of that, I want to sell it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to make it, a source of pain and disappointment. It's like,
Yeah.
it does everything that I want it to do, everything that I need it to do. So kind of done, even though I have a bunch of stuff that I want to throw at it to kind of change the appearance and make it drive a little bit better. But I feel like I should just leave well enough alone and then pass that along to somebody else to either enjoy as it is or make it their project. Like I just, I feel like it sounds weird, but I feel like I should just quit that thing before I, go too far with it.
Yeah, the reason the question pops up, and I agree with everything you said, by the way. I'm just looking at the list of ever since I did the off road trip, I'm looking at the list of things that I want to do to the Montero now to beef it up. And like part of me wants to keep it minimal, and if I can make it more like at this point, I only want one more thing on the exterior, and that's the awning. I don't need anything else. I don't want a tent. I don't need more lights. I don't need any of that shit. I want to do mechanical stuff. And then it's like, all right, I want to do a rear e-locker, an electronic rear locker. That's like $800. It's like, fuck. And then if I'm going to do that, I should do gearing because a common thing is to jump to 490s or 529s even, which you've got to go to like Australia to get them. So that's going to be fucking $1,200 before shipping probably from Australia, which is like $1 billion and it'll take 2 months. And then at that point, I should probably tear the engine down and rebuild it because I think it's leaking oil somewhere on the top side of the engine, not the bottom side of the engine, which is good actually, because that should be an easier fix. But yeah, theoretically, but I still got to pull shit off the top to see if it's just like the valve covers are leaking. It's like I'm hoping it's just the valve covers because that'd be something stupid and easy, and boom, it's fixed, it's done. But then, then you're just like, all right, but I also have entertained the idea of doing like a custom upholstery on the inside, which would be dope. Like I saw pictures, your boy Dobbins posted a photo on Instagram from that thing you were at. There was a Porsche Cayenne that had like the door jams all done.
Oh, yeah. That thing was
dope.
sick with the camo wrap just in the door jams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
So I obviously wouldn't do that specifically, but like that concept was really cool. And that's more brash than I'd go. I'd go something simple with like, I think it was maybe in Farah's Safari 911, he did like the door cards and then the seat inserts in like a funky vintage thing.
Was that the PDX airport? No, it was like a bus seat, right? Like a 90s.
It might have been the bus seat, yeah. But it was cool. It was different, and it matched the color of the car. And I'd want to go for like some like 90s era brown Recaro print, like something of that flavor, because they used to have some great brown and beige seats, which they don't sell anymore. It's funny. I emailed one of the third-party agencies for Recaro because they hit me up on something. I was like, hey, do they ever, work for? Can I like talk about seats and maybe get a discount or something like that on some seats? And they're like, oh, we would love to work with you. Just send us, fill out this form and we'll get it to them. Filled out the form and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, it has a bunch of questions because the people they talk to are probably like range from like SEMA people who like the build as a concept to people I'm like, hey, I just need seats. But it's funny because I listed the seats I wanted and they only basically come in like black. Like that's all they sell the seats in these days. And I went back to the person like, hey, I love this. Like, it's either like the classic LX or whatever the Recaro model is. And I was like, but they used to do these in brown. Can they still do them in brown? He's like, oh, let me check and get back to you. And I've literally, it's been months. Like, they're like, fuck this guy. We don't need to dip into our old catalog. Like, he could have taken the black seats and been happy. But that was a hard pass from them, I'm assuming.
Go back and ask for the black. Shit, dude. We got an upholstery guy. We can fucking
But actually, what I want to do is just recover the existing seats.
Well, okay.
Because I don't have a problem with the existing seats. And then I look at the Jag, which is similar to where you're at with the Tahoe on a lesser scale. Because what I want to do on that is just repair some things and then sell it. Like, because I don't want to hand it off with. I know there's a fuel leak in there somewhere. It doesn't leak to the ground, but it's leaking, so I can smell it. And then I would like to. What was the other thing I wanted to do on that? No, because the transmission would be
here.
AC. I want to get the AC going.
Yeah.
Which I think it just needs to be sealed up. Like, I think it's just leaking from somewhere, and I think an AC shop would be like, all right, here, got it.
Yeah.
And if I do fuel leak, which will be expensive, and the AC, which I don't think will be expensive because everything works, it's just a leak. I think I'll post it for sale somewhere. And then on top of that, people ask, I still have the Mercedes. And so we are, it is happening. I know nobody believes me, but it's going to happen. And there's going to be a point when that does get to a point, and
I don't know if you can hear that rumbling, but it was just a super sick, like 67, 68 Chevy C10 that just pulled a U-turn right here. I thought they were pulling in my garage, and I was like, oh my God, I got a new best friend.
New friends. Yeah. Where is your truck?
My K10?
Yeah.
K10 is at Hoonigan.
Okay.
Yeah, I've scheduled a guy to come out and repair the column for that thing so that I can start it driving and get it out of their hair and get it over to the shitbox speakeasy and do the little things that it needs, just weather stripping, headlights, taillights, just fluids, tune up. Like, thing fucking starts first hit of the key every single time. Well, it did before everything got jacked, but yeah, I need to get on that thing and get that flipped and put some more money in my pocket.
It's a good excuse to go to Four Sons because they are across the street from Classic Industries.
Hey,
which probably has the shit you need.
Well, I already have everything that I need.
Okay.
It's just like the Tahoe. Like, I really don't have any excuse now that I have the garage. Like, I just need to get it over there and throw everything at it that I've kind of stockpiled for the last year. I've got all the weather stripping. I've got the headlights. I've got the taillights. Like, the truck is complete. It doesn't need anything. It just a tune-up and a cleanup.
Okay. Nice.
I've got wheels and tires. I've got a lift kit. Like, I just need to throw everything at it and get it turned around.
It might be worth including the lift kit in the sale, but not installing it and like leaving that up to the buyer because they might want it.
It's just like that factory kind of slope, like
okay.
Just a 2-inch lift kit, and I bought 33s for it. And apparently they'll clear, but like you got to trim the fenders,
or
remove some trim, and I really don't want to cut it at all. And just if they fit and they don't rub, then great. I won't install the lift kit. I'll just sell that. But it's my understanding that I'll need to do some minor trimming and shit. And I'd rather just install the lift kit and call it a day.
Yeah, for sure. Now I got to bring it up. Autopia2099 for those who don't remember. That was the electric show that I am a part of with our friend Bradley Brownell and a handful of other wonderful people. We had our first show last winter in LA, and it went pretty well. We were very happy with the turnout. We had some automaker support, and we enjoyed it. And we're doing 2 shows here in 2022. The first one is coming up on August 6th. It's the summer, so we're going to do a winter and a summer. The winter will once again be in LA sometime in December. We're still working on details on that. And we might have a really dope spot for that one. The summer one is going to be in the Bay Area. August 6th is the date. So if you are in the area, you want to come, the Bay Area, August 6th.
If you are in the Yay area.
Yay. The cool thing is we have a sick location for this one. It's a place called the Craneway Pavilion. It's
Okay.
this industrial building on one of the piers. It's going to be dope.
Is it
It's
San
all
Francisco, Oakland? Did I miss that?
yeah. It's called Richmond, but I think it's basically San
Oh, yeah,
Francisco.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all makes and models of electrified vehicle. But then we also want to see like mobility things. I want to see scooters and bikes and skateboards and RC cars and
Bring your birds. Bring your
yeah,
lions.
yeah. We'll all throw them in the ocean. No, we won't do that. I'm just joking. So if you are interested in bringing a car to show off, the tickets will be going on sale probably as early as next week. Check out Autopia2099.com for more details. I will post it on my Instagram. The Autopia2099 Instagram page will also post it. And then if you're a vendor who's interested in just being there and talking about and showing off stuff, we still have plenty of opportunities available for that as well. So hit me up at jeff@hooniverse.com and we can chat through that. I have a full, nicely produced deck. We're very professional about this.
I've seen it. It's nice.
Yeah, I got a nice thick deck for you.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm gross. I am gross. Call HR. So I want to get people excited for this one. We think the Bay Area is a good spot for it. Just it's popular for EVs. It's not just Teslas showing up. We welcome a few Teslas to be there. We had some modified ones at the first one, and the owners were super cool. They were super excited to be there, show off their rides. They are really dope stuff. One of the guys got out of like the JDM tuning game and is modifying his Model 3, and he was doing a really like clean job. It was sitting a little lower, had a little nice front lip on it, a good wheel and tire package, super duper. I was happy to see that. But then we also had a dude who was building a, what was it? Was it a 2002? It was an old BMW that was very clearly a project car 'cause it rolled in with no windows and no doors.
That's
Like,
adding
and
life.
drove it there. It's awesome. We had a Corvair that
No
won Best in
doors?
Show. What's that? He had like just
Drove
two.
there with no doors.
Yeah, he had two bars in place where the doors should be. They just drove it there. We had an electric Corvair that won Best in Show because we do give out these really nicely made awards from Send Cut Send. So please, we would love to see you there if you can make it. I'm going to
I
drive
don't
up.
remember why I didn't make the LA show, but I'm still kind of
I
slapping
think you
myself.
were hungover. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I mean, that's entirely possible, but I would think it would be something more demanding and I get over a hangover like that. Like I don't think that's the. I don't think.
I don't
that's a good
remember. I don't remember.
I remember wanting to go, planning to go, and then that fell apart. But I'm super excited for it, and I don't not to stack a plug on top of a plug, but like I really want to figure out a way to get our EV wheel brand OM involved and be a part of it. So hopefully we've got some stuff in development that I think would be cool to show.
Yeah.
I don't know that we'll make it in time for the August event, but for December, I definitely want to be involved and have some representation there.
Yeah, and I know Wheel Pros has money, motherfucker. Don't you?
Well, you know, I wish they'd give me a little bit more.
I will give you the reverse of a sweetheart deal. Make your bosses pay me, motherfucker. All right. So, one of my favorite things to hear is if there's any shitbox speakeasy updates.
Yeah, and I think I'm allowed to speak on these now. Vin has sold his NSX. I don't know that. I don't know that it's been picked up, but you know he had that car for a year, which is kind of. I think it might be a PR for him. I don't think he's kept any project car that long. He may have had a Raptor that long, his current Raptor, but he sold that. He picked up an Evo. I don't know if it's an 8 or a 9 because I don't really keep up with those things, and I haven't seen it.
No, but it's a U.S. market Evo, though, right?
Sure. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Like, I imagine it is, but, like, I haven't asked him about it. I haven't seen it in person. I went by there yesterday because I thought it was there. He had slipped in sometime between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. when I got there and traded it out. Jason sold his R32, and he picked up something else, but I don't know that he's announced that, so I won't speak on it. But
I'm gonna pull up Vin's just a shot of the
sure.
Evo because when I remember, I get excited when I remember that we can do this. Uh,
Me too.
I didn't know that the Hoonigan plate on his Porsche was a real plate.
It's not.
Oh, it's not.
It is not.
It looks like it has stickers. Oh no, wait, never mind. That one on the left says like cat.
Hoonigan.com and ride dirty in whatever state you're in.
Got it. But the other plate is real because he's blocked some of it out.
Yeah. So what is that? Evo 8, Evo 9? I don't know.
Dude, I don't know. I Evo.
Evos and WRXs are just kind of outside.
Oh, I think it's a 9. I think it's a 9.
They're outside my realm of interest, to be completely honest.
But
I mean, I think they're cool, but like it's just not something I ever want to own, so I don't pay them too much attention.
Yeah, no, I get it. But yeah, I can't believe you got rid of the NSX.
Yeah, I mean,
but the market's right, I guess. So
yeah, exactly. Like I could say I can't believe you're getting rid of the Jag. You could say you can't believe I'm getting rid of the Tahoe. Like
I
it's
buy
like
cars where the market is never right, so that it doesn't matter what happens. No one gives a shit about Monteros except Montero fanatics. No one gives a shit about this Frankenstein Jag except like a handful of weird car Twitter people. And that's about it. Even though literally in the New York Times, like today, there's an article that some dude wrote an article that the Montero is the go-to budget off-roader for people who can't afford Defenders. And I was like, sweet. But there's a dude, and they interviewed Lynn for the article, which was great. But then they talked to some other dude who I don't know, who's like a car collector, and he's like, we can see these going for as much as $25,000. I'm like, bro,
shit.
there's no Gen 1 Monteros going for $25,000. Even if it was like the cleanest one, the most I think I've ever seen is 15, and that whoever bought it overpaid.
Dude, everything is kind of outrageous, but I also feel like the market is leveling off. I think
it is
probably plateaued. Like
I think so.
We're at peak. I don't know how long this will last, but I don't think anything is gonna outside of fucking one of two Mercedes SLR fucking race cars. Like I don't think
140 million. Yeah,
anything is still surging. I think you might still see some 90s 2000 cars like increase slightly. Maybe 10-20% increase in value, but I feel like everything that's considered collectible and cool and decent driver, I think we're at the peak right now, and it's going to start to level off. And it's for me, it's time to sell, but not just to maximize my money. It's just like I want to play with other things. I want to do other shit. It's like I've enjoyed my shit, and I'm not emotionally attached to anything that I own. I feel like I kind of fucked up with the Mustang because I cut it up and made it so individual. And it's like I feel like I'm stuck with that car for life, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I just need to get off my ass and make it what I always wanted it to be. But
right.
That car would probably be if it were the same car that I bought in 2013, supercharged 306 heads cam intake, 50,000 miles, all original. That would probably be a $35,000 car now. Like,
oh, definitely, yeah,
definitely.
But
like, nobody's gonna buy it as it is. Like, it's so personalized and so individual, and that's fine. It's mine. But it just kind of sucks because I don't really have the flexibility to say, oh yeah, I could get rid of this and put money into something else. But I feel like everything is kind of maxed out right now and poised for a decline.
Right. I agree. On that Montero front, I think like if I was ever to sell mine's worth like at the most right now in this crazy market 10, but I wouldn't sell it for less than 30 because I don't want to sell it. I don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
But if someone walked up tomorrow and was like, I'll give you 30, I'd be like, hey, you just bought yourself a Montero, dummy.
Like a GX or something much more modern and capable out of the box. Like, yeah.
Or a dope ass muscle car.
Yeah, I'd support that even more.
Right. Actually, I keep saying I want to sell the Jag to build up the Montero, but I can't get the idea out of a fucking early Mustang out of my head.
Right?
You know, I want one.
I'm like, I want the same. Like, I want to sell the Tahoe so that I can put money into my other projects, right? But then I'm like, people send me gassers. Like our buddy Leo, CNC Picks, like he sends me gassers for sale and lowriders for sale, and I'm just like, yeah, like I would actually trade for a donk, a box Chevy, a lowrider, a gasser. Like if I could find one that was like of equal value and just like make an easy peasy switch, like that would scratch my itch too. Like I just want something that's fun and unorthodox. Like the Tahoe's great, but it's not fun to drive. Like it's not a weekend car because you can't burn rubber in it,
right.
and like it's not obnoxious enough to like offend people, like a lowrider or a donk. But like, you know, it's
we're both like we're both car rich, cash poor.
totally.
Yeah, that's where we are. It's like
There's our title.
Whatever. Yeah, car rich, cash poor. I like it. I'm going to pose this question out to you right now so that I can go grab a beer and come back and participate. What would be your dream, this versus that?
Oh, okay. So this versus that, the Hoonigan drag race show that I actually co-host from time to time. My dream, this versus that, would not include. Man, it would be so fucking obscure. Like, I would love to, and I talked to, I don't know if you're friends with Rory Carroll, but
yeah, I'm friends with Rory.
Yeah, so Rory was
today actually weird.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. So I talk to Rory often. He and I are actually friends through Killer Mike randomly, but
oh yeah, him and Rory are like boys.
yeah. So we actually talked last week about. So he's at RM Sotheby's now, so he's got access to an insane collection of cars that both Sotheby's owns and has on consignment, et cetera, et cetera. So we talked about doing some like pre-war fucking race car shit, and I think that would be hilarious to have like you know a blower Bentley, you know, 20s blower Bentley or a Bugatti or something like that, versus you know anything of the modern era. It could be a fucking Camry, it could be a Civic Si.
Yeah, it'd have to be like some kind of stock, like a Sonata.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it necessarily has to be something that banal, but like, you know, just any modern, like not super performance car, but just something, you know, sporty. But it would be cool to see, you know, some dude in fucking goggles and fucking leather helmet and, you know, in full regalia in like a pre-war fucking race car just out there whipping that shit against just anything random from today and see how it would stack up.
I could run my electric skateboard next to it. Those do 22 miles an hour.
I would love to see even like a 40s, 50s land speed car, like a belly tank racer.
Oh, yeah.
Against, you know, a fucking TRX or something like that. It's like, you know, the complete opposite end of the spectrum. It's just like overpowered, 7,000 pounds, but still somehow manages to do 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. Like, I think that juxtaposition is what that show is all about. And it would be really cool to see those two in a roll race. Like, you know, it's just like all the sound and the fury, but from different decades, different kind of schools of thought as far as how to achieve that performance.
Yeah, I like that. I have a weird Rory Carroll story. That's not weird because of Rory. When I was getting my vasectomy, the doctor, you know, knew I was a car person, and he asked if I knew Rory Calhoun. I was like, I'm like, do you mean Rory Carroll? He's like, yeah, Rory Carroll, because he and Rory had gone back and forth a bunch about car stuff. So my vasectomy doctor knows Rory because my vasectomy doctor owns a Z8.
Oh, sick!
And it's friends with Henry.
Motherfucking baller.
And he's friends with Enrique Fisker.
I've never heard anybody pronounce it Enrique.
Enrique.
I thought it was
Henry.
I thought it was just Henrik, but
I think Enrique sounds better. It's probably not, but I don't give a shit.
I don't disagree with you, but I mean, I've met the dude and I worked with him when I was at CNC. We were the
Henrik.
official aftermarket partner for Fisker when it initially launched.
Okay.
We did
Henrik.
body kits and wheels and stuff. Yeah, Hank. I called him Hank. No, that's
Hanky
not
Panky Fisker. But I have some suggestions for this versus that.
okay.
One is Ron Zaris and we've texted back and forth that I want to race his Land Rover against my Montero, but we
Hell
have
yeah.
to be on the grass on the side of the runway.
Yes.
It'd be the slowest, most boring.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, it would be the slowest for sure, but it wouldn't be the most
slowest.
boring. That'd be
funny.
hilarious.
And then I want to see vintage supercars, stock versus stock. So like F40 959, like the hero stuff.
Sure.
Just to see how they compare. And then the other thing I'd like to see is different types of race cars. So like, just to get an idea of the speed, like NASCAR versus something, trophy truck, IndyCar, open wheel. If you could, I mean, you could never. This would be insanely. But you guys do have the connections where if you reach out to like via race service, who has the F1 in, you get an F1 car.
That's probably not going to happen.
Well, that won't happen. But there's doors that you guys know, especially since. Well, no, because what Ken's like.
IndyCar, I just holler at the homie J.R. Hildebrand. We just get him to bring that out.
Well, yeah, because he's bringing it to Pikes too, which is sick.
Right.
Yeah.
No, like, we definitely have connections, but yeah, that's just kind of
Not the RS stuff.
industry.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, right.
everybody's cool, but like I don't.
No, I know.
I don't know.
I even know
It's
all
too
the
easy.
backstories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was even partially involved in some of that backstory, which is fucking insane. All right, moving on to Twitter questions.
Moving on. I'm gonna get a refill.
First question. Yeah. First question from Pat's Curtains at Pat's Curtains. This is a Pikes Peak question, actually. You have to drive at Pikes Peak this year. You can't drive a Porsche. You have Hoonigan money and can build your own team. What are you driving?
Hoonigan money. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hoonigan money won't get you to Pikes Peak.
No, all the sponsors who glom on will get you to Pikes Peak.
Right.
Like Mobile One, fucking.
Yes.
So, assuming you have the access to that money, I mean, it seems like Ken kind of built the fucking car this year.
Right.
So, I'm not just saying that because our fine friend Ron here works for.
Okay, so Hoonigan money would get you Scumbug, the 1968 or 69
Which I would do.
Baja Bug,
I
and
would do.
in some or shit car. That's what Hoonigan money would get you. But yeah, if you're talking about sponsorship dollars that basically funded something like the Hoonipig, like I don't know what you would do, but fuck, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's already been so many wild contraptions like Chuckles.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like his fucking F100, fucking crazy compound turbo, fucking.
Yep.
I think he's got meth injection, like,
Is that truck still around or did it burn down?
No, he wrecked it a couple years ago, rebuilt it, but I don't know. I think it's at least retired from Pikes Peak use. He
But he
built
had that like
an LMP1 car or something for competition this year.
because he was his like garage. Remember like one of the Northern California fires?
Yeah. No, that
it made it
truck
out.
was
All right.
spared, but it was destroyed. The first iteration was destroyed at Pikes Peak. He fucking launched it off a cliff into a bunch of trees, and the trees actually kind of saved him, but destroyed the truck. But he's since rebuilt that thing. But that's not what he's competing in this year. He's got literally, I think, a decommissioned or older LMP1 car that
Jesus.
He's built the spec. I don't know what motor. I don't know if it's diesel powered. I don't know what it is, but he's going ham this year. Ken obviously is going ham. I mean, I don't know. I think it's super cool. I'm most looking forward to seeing Jared Hildebrand fucking drive the IndyCar, since you said that's a thing. I didn't know it until last week, but I think Pikes Peak is so run what you brung. Just fucking build anything you want. Like, everything is tube chassis, so it doesn't even really matter what body you put on it.
Right.
Randy Popes drives fucking Teslas. Mike Dussault has built this crazy fucking 67 or 68 Camaro that's a tube chassis car that's like barely resembles the Camaro that it's based on, but it's got some like twin turbo, probably 2,000 horsepower LS combination. It's like it's basically a prototype car, not even for the street, but it's like a prototype car bodied as a Camaro. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool shit, and like I don't think I could imagine anything cooler than what's already in play and in action up there.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I don't want to give Ken all the credit in the world, but that's a hell of a fucking thing he built. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the people involved, Batim and Scarbo and
Yeah. Oil
all
Stain
that
Lab with the design, like
Yeah.
you know, I feel like last week the I don't want to say the fluff got the attention, but like the livery is fucking cool, but the livery is not what makes that car competitive. And
Right.
companies like Scarborough and Oil Stain Lab and obviously BBI that really make that car what it is. And I'm super excited to see what it does. But yeah, I don't know that on paper anything is gonna top that. But there's so many variables and so many unknowns going up that mountain. Like there's no guarantees of anything.
Nothing. Bradley Brownell at BC Brownell asks, when is the next Autopia? We answer that, my friend. Ash at Ash in China, which Chinese car brand would you most like to see in the USA? I unfortunately don't know that many, but for you, I will say, is it Geely or Geely? That's the one I'll say.
Right. That's the only one that I know by name. What's the new Vietnamese?
VinFast.
VinFast or VN? It's VIN?
Yeah.
Fast?
Yep. VinFast. Yep.
I was surprised to see them at LA Auto Show. That was the first I'd ever heard of them. And they were reasonably impressive,
They just spent a lot of money to fly journalists to Vietnam for like a week to see the country, the factories, and learn about the thing. And I did not get invited on the trip, but they like chartered a jet from LA to fucking Vietnam. Like they spent a lot of money to get people over there.
kind of have to.
Yeah. AJ,
Also, Vietnam is beautiful.
oh my God, I want to go so bad.
Yeah, great trip.
Yep. AJ at Gupta AJ. I am begging God for allocation of either a Lightning or a Hummer. Any connections? Zero connections. I think you have a better shot at a Lightning just because I think there's
can't
less
imagine
Hummers.
it's super limited. Like,
Yeah.
I think the Hummer is going to be more limited, and like they're definitely targeting influencers. Like, they got LeBron one first, so it's like, good luck getting one at sticker or near sticker for the next year.
Right.
But I feel like the Lightning, like that's got to be more of a commodity vehicle. It's got to be more readily available and reasonably priced.
Yeah, I mean, like the base big battery or long range, whatever it was, like if theoretically, if it was at MSRP, is a fucking amazing truck. So,
Right.
Jay Pacillo, at JZX71, what does the future of Hoonigan content / brand look like post Wheel Pros acquisition?
Good.
Seems like it's business as usual.
That's yeah. I mean, I'm not. Obviously, I'm involved. Obviously, I am the one person. I'm uniquely able to comment on this, but I also can't say too much because
Right.
I don't know a lot. But I am the one person that was both a Hoonigan employee and a Wheel Pros employee, and now a Hoonigan / Wheel Pros employee, right? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the idea is not necessarily for Hoonigan to serve as an agency to Wheel Pros.
Right.
Hoonigan still has other partners that they tailor their programming to. And, it's to some degree, it's still a separate entity, but we've merged our marketing and media teams. And, we're still trying to figure it out. But that doesn't mean that it's like a free for all or nobody knows what's going on. It's just it's just kind of ever changing, and there's a lot of capable and talented and experienced individuals on both sides, and we're Hoonigan still does what it does, and Wheel Pros is always going to be what it is. But hopefully soon we achieve the kind of synergy that allows each business and brand to serve one another.
Right.
That's the goal. It's like we don't want to make nobody wants to make Hoonigan exclusive to wheel pros as far as like partnerships and programming. You know, Hoonigan, it has a different clientele and a different customer base as a product and accessories and, you know, kind of lifestyle brand. And it brings eyes to wheel pros, but it can't just service wheel pros. But that's, you know, again, I'm not in the C-suite. I'm not in charge here. I'm watching it unfold just like a lot of us. But
I would love to see the core Hoonigan crew attend an event for fuel wheels.
I mean, that stuff happens. Like, you know, it's like
just to see Vin at one of those events, knowing what he's into.
Well, but I mean, what do you think a fuel event is? I mean, you have insight through Josh, like you know
no,
somebody.
But also just like the type of vehicles I see with those wheels.
Well,
because that brand
fuel is our biggest brand, and it's
huge.
kind of all encompassing in the truck space. So it's like, you know, you get your Brodozer guys with the 26x14s. You also have your guys that, you know, have 17x9s and beadlocks, and you know they're serious crawlers or desert rats. You know, fuel is that one brand that kind of runs the gamut on the truck side.
Sure.
Niche would be that brand on the passenger car side. Like it, not to say it doesn't have an identity, but it just kind of lives in so many different spaces and is just so popular that, you know, you'll see them on supercars, you'll see them on, you know, fucking escorts and, you know, economy cars, right?
Right.
But you know, trying to make one brand service, meaning Hoonigan, service our 30 plus wheel brands, and not to mention our dynamic lighting group, which is Morimoto, Retrofit Source, Terraflex suspension, Zebro suspension. You know, there's so many. Logic, which is like our air suspension company. Like, there's so many brands. There's so many different things going on that it's impossible to kind of task Hoonigan.
You guys are gonna have your own SEMA.
I mean, we kind of have to, because it seems
right.
like SEMA is like, you know, the irony of that is that we really didn't have much of a presence at SEMA last year. At least the wheel brands didn't. We had our lighting group and our suspension groups. They had a presence at SEMA, but you know, that's something that we should actually talk about. Is Ford, GM, Honda have all pulled out of SEMA 2022.
Damn, and Ford always had a huge booth.
Right. I mean, not just a huge booth, but Ford out front. Like, you know, that activation was huge, and it, you know, it was a huge draw, not just for the SEMA members and legit attendees, but because it was outside, it was a huge draw for locals and, you know, retail consumers. It was, you know, it was just fun to watch Vaughn Gittin Jr., Chelsea Denofa, fucking, you know, all of those guys rip up the parking lot outside. So without that, like, you know, there's going to be a lot of empty space at SEMA, and you know, a lot of builders that are kind of passed out. It's just like, you know, people really build cars to compete for Ford and GM design awards, and without that kind of, you know, dangling, I don't know what SEMA looks like anymore.
Yeah, that's a good. Damn, that's crazy. That's a big loss for SEMA. IDK asks, Amarona Sec, when will vehicle inventory increase? When I don't have an answer for that one. That's a tough question to answer, and it's above our pay grade. Yeah. Bobby Reed, what is your most controversial automotive opinion?
You go first.
Shit. It's not controversial to hate on Stance. I don't love Stance Nation. I don't know. I don't think manual gearbox is always the answer for every car.
Sure.
Yeah, how's that? That's pretty, because everybody's like, manual this, manual that. If I were to buy, say, a brand new Jeep Wrangler, there's no question I would get the auto. The manual in the Jeep Wrangler sucks.
Yeah, I would I would agree with you. I would. This is not my answer. I'm just agreeing with you. I would definitely choose PDK over manual in almost every situation. Man.
Oh, see, in Porsche, I'd get the manual.
Yeah. I would.
That that GTS I drove was the shit.
With
but
the 7 speed?
I prefer supercharger over turbocharger, but that's not controversial.
Not at all.
I prefer naturally aspirated over both.
Man. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say something just to be sensationalistic. But
Right,
like,
right, right.
Considered like my own opinion, like what would be controversial.
I think of the gearbox.
I don't know. I mean, I think people would be surprised to hear me personally say that like I'm totally in favor of the EV wave, and like I'm cool with 90% of vehicles being electric, and I'm cool with EV swaps into classic cars. Like I see, kind of old school hot rodders post shit all the time. Like, like I saw a meme today that was basically a guy waiting outside the gates of heaven, and fucking St. Peter, whoever's in charge of that shit, was just like, "Oh, sorry, you're going to hell. You EV swapped a muscle car, a classic muscle car."
It's boomer as fuck.
Yeah, that shit's fucking silly. Like, it's like I love the sound and the fury of a V8 as much as anybody else.
Yep.
But like, there's plenty of candidates that would benefit from an EV swap and the immediate torque and the smoothness, and I just think we need to embrace that as a culture and as an enthusiast base. Like, it's inevitable, and we need to encourage manufacturers and like custom builders to perfect it, to get it right, and to get it right as soon as possible, so that it's an affordable and kind of intelligent choice. Right now it may not make a lot of sense when a manufacturer just offers a motor, like Ford, right?
Yeah.
Like you offer an electric motor, but what are my resources? What are my options for battery packs, for drivetrain solutions? Like I would love to, I say this all the time, I would love to EV swap my Lincoln.
Right.
I think that makes the most sense in the world.
The Neil Young route.
Yeah, but I'm totally for it. If it makes sense and people are doing it for the right reasons and those reasons are validated. It's like right now it's not necessarily from the lifespan of production to the crusher. It's not necessarily more efficient or environmentally friendly to have an EV over, a reasonably efficient internal combustion car.
Right.
But once that's all sorted out, I think it's fine for all new vehicles to be EV, and we still have our enthusiast vehicles that allows us to kind of focus on those. And when I say enthusiast vehicles, I mean internal combustion powered, and keep those on the road and enjoy them for what they were, even as a dying breed.
Yeah, I hear you. And I'm with you. Graham Brown at Graham Pro Look. Hi, Jeff and Ron, longtime listener, first-time caller. Is the BBS RS universally the coolest aftermarket wheel of all time, or is there a better all-arounder?
I would say OZ Futura, but the RS is right behind it.
I'm going to let Ron take that answer because he's going to be more correct than I am, and I would think the modern winner is the TE.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean,
of the current era generation, but
yeah, I mean, it looks good on everything. I mean, you could put that, there's a version that looks good on a Raptor or a 4Runner. There's a version that looks good on a GTR. There's a version that looks good on a Fox body. Like, that the TE is universally attractive.
Is there any room in the conversation for like an American racing, like D window? Or is that just muscle car stuff?
No.
Moving on. Next question.
That's the torque thrust. Maybe that's a super classic style.
Yeah, torque thrust.
But it works on a specific type of vehicle. It's
I like D windows. The Fool Suffer at FK Adders are busy. I can't read it. I'm sorry. Embargo list tomorrow. So in the event you've driven one, what do you think of the new Integra? I have not, so I cannot say. Instagram questions. McDonald Insta. Got it. I got it. If I'm not too late, what's your take on the 4-cylinder 718s? Good investment. I mean, it says Porsche on the fucking car, right? So 912s are worth $30,000 to $50,000 today. So yes,
just wait 40 years.
Right. Well, yeah, and it probably drives great. I mean, even though it's a 4-cylinder. Danger Russ M3. What is a don't meet your heroes car you've driven? I have one. It was very, very early in my career, and I would love to revisit it because I didn't appreciate non-power steering cars at the time, and it was a Ferrari 308, and I thought it fucking sucked.
Yeah, I haven't driven like a 308 Mondial, but I expect that would be disappointing. I always like the 400s, like the 400i, 412, like those 4-seaters. Like I love the shape of those, but I think my romanticized vision of one would be like with a modern swap or like something to boost power. Like I don't think I would enjoy one as they came from the factory. But my answer is Buick Grand National.
Oh, I could see that.
Cool as fuck.
Right.
But
looks dope rolling, but like it takes forever to get on boost,
yeah.
right?
Like you're in the throttle for seconds before anything happens, and then it's like fucking snaps into power, shifts, and it's just like another lag, and then you get fucking pushed back in the seat, and it's just like it's almost anticlimactic for how long you have to wait for the boost. And driving Mike's car in this versus that a couple years ago, totally stock and like high mileage, like 150,000 miles, but like Mike's car was stock and it fucking got heat soak after like 2 laps, and then it wasn't as quick as a Hyundai Palisade fucking SUV. It's just like a naturally aspirated 300 horsepower V6 SUV basically, would have whooped it in a bracket race like 3 out of 5. Like,
oh, that's funny.
It's just not that fun.
On the flip side, I got to drive an E39 M5 for like 15 minutes. Shout out Rick Radcliffe. Thanks for letting me take that for a spin. And it was like a janky one. It had issues. And it was an absolute.
Sorry, Rick.
Which one?
I just said, sorry, Rick. He talking shit about your car.
No, it wasn't his.
Right.
Just let me drive it.
Damn.
Rick had this really neat job, or his friend is a cool. I don't want to blow up his spot, but he got access to cars for certain reasons, and they needed miles. It was an absolute meet your heroes moment because holy fuck, that car is awesome. Pretty cool projects ask, are wheel spacers unsafe? Thinking about 10 mil spacers, should I upgrade my studs? That's a you question.
Yeah, it depends on the vehicle. If your vehicle has studs, like most American cars, even Japanese and Korean, 99% of those vehicles have wheel studs. It lessens your thread engagement of your lugs and would be considered unsafe. When it comes to typically European stuff, Mercedes, BMW, Ferrari, Lamborghini, they have wheel bolts. And you basically just increase the shank length by using a spacer. And it's typically considered safe, but you really should invest in the best hardware possible. Like, buy from a reputable manufacturer and just make sure that you've got good stuff, because it's not ideal, but it's way easier and accepted to increase your track with wheel spacers with a bolt vehicle versus a stud vehicle. Like, Brabus, Techart, these guys, like, they have to have their wheels and all wheel accessories TUV approved, TUV. And that's a very stringent regulation. Like their testing procedure is much more rigorous than, say, DOT or anything that we would have here in the States.
That's not even close.
And like if you get pulled over and your vehicle has modifications, including wheels or spacers that are not TUV approved, then your shit is impounded and, you face heavy fines, et cetera, et cetera. So it costs those manufacturers a lot of money to get TUV approval, but they make wheels to fit a number of different vehicles with the use of spacers. So it's widely accepted in the European tuning community. So it's considered safe, but they make their own hardware, they make their own spacers. It's highly regulated and considered safe, even though it's not ideal.
I'm creating the name of this episode right now. We're not TUV approved. So my buddy, Real Cool Frips, who I've known since 6th grade, who was my college roommate too, he asked boxers or briefs, and baby, you know the answer. No, I'm just kidding.
Briefs.
Boxer briefs is the way to go. Is the correct answer.
Does anybody wear briefs anymore? Like,
no, Grandpa.
is that like you turn 50 and like you just give up and you just start wearing briefs? Or
I've been wearing boxer briefs for like
20 years personally. Like, I don't know.
Taylor 356 pros versus, this is a funny question, pros versus cons for manual versus auto when off-roading, Jeep Wrangler related. So you can off-road a manual gearbox. My Montero's has a manual gearbox. The automatic, I know there are some people who think the manual makes things easier, and they are very good off-roaders, and I trust their opinion. But for the casual off-roader, the auto makes your life easier, especially if you need to left foot brake stuff. Though in the manual, you can use your parking brake in situations where you need it for off-road applications. I did see the coolest thing last weekend when I was in Arkansas. There was an FJ60 that was running all the same trails as us, and it has a pull throttle next to the key for off-roading. I've never seen this before. It's fucking awesome.
Gee, what?
So it's a little, it looks like a choke, but it's the throttle. So he can be on brake and clutch and then start to give it throttle with up here. He doesn't have to move his foot. So he's pulling out the cable like a choke, and it's giving it throttle, and then he can come off the clutch, stay on the brake, and then like feather the brake and like it was so fucking cool, and it's so old tech, but it was awesome. But
that's cool.
The manuals, I think, get slightly better crawl ratios in 4 low. And there are things you can do on descents, but you can just put your automatic in it anyway. But in general, for a Jeep Wrangler, the 8-speed is the better gearbox. I know there are aftermarket solutions to improve the clutch and the engagement of the manual, but I love that 8-speed. So. And then our final question is not a question. It's from Jacob_Huxford1. Not a question, but I really enjoy listening to you and Ron shoot the shit on the pod. And then he went like that. So thank you for that, Jacob. Yes. We enjoy shooting the shit as well.
Yes.
Ron, where can everybody find you on social meteors?
777 Style. Both on Instagram and the web.
Nice.
.com on the web.
Very nicely delivered. I am at Hooniverse Jeff on Twitter and Instagram and all that bullshit. And then, also like and subscribe to.
I don't promote other people's shit, but go watch Hoonigan This First That. If you really care about my opinions and want to see me talk shit, that's another. Do
that. They need more of you and less. I don't want to say less of anybody because everybody does a fine job. No. I was going to say some people, but everybody does a good job.
I'm also not like the most personable and like outgoing personality on the show. Right. It's like, but just tune in for the zingers. Like,
okay. And I'll say off the air who they should have less of. So like, subscribe to the podcast and on the YouTube channel. We're everywhere. Spotify, blah, 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 all that crap. Anchor FM. Go to Hooniverse.com. Some good reviews coming out. I have an Ioniq 5 behind me, which is hilariously charging.
That thing.
Dude, it's charging at basically what is level 1 right now, and it says 43 hours to full. Oh, God. They didn't give me the plug to plug into my level 2 outlet, which would be like less than 7 hours. And the crazy thing is this can do 350 kilowatts. So I could go, if I find a DC fast charger that can do 350 kilowatts, it can go 10 to 80% in under 18 minutes.
Wow. So you're like USB-C right now? Like
I'm USB 0, whatever the fuck it is. I'm doing this for shits and giggles, though, because I was curious what it would do.
iPhone charger?
Yeah. But it's cool because the charging port is also pixelated. So, like, that's showing me status.
Oh, yeah.
That's how much charge I have. But that's pixelated.
Is that one gloss? I don't think I've ever seen one painted gloss. Every one I've seen is
gloss. The Kias are more matte than the Ioniqs.
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with you, but it's just not what I've seen.
Really?
Yeah, every one of those I've seen has been like
fucking big too. Actually, can you see these hoopers?
Yeah, they're 20s.
Yeah,
they're kind of cool.
Yeah, I like the design. It's different.
You're making my job more difficult.
Yeah, everybody's offering good wheels now. Well, not everybody. Hyundai, Kia are, but not everybody else. I like it. I prefer the Kia a little bit more. Just because it's a better tuning on the chassis, which they got to separate them. I like the style on the Kia better too, personally. Though I think this is cool. I think it's very cool. And then what else do we got? Oh, I got a Bentley tomorrow.
Yeah, which one?
The Flying Spur Hybrid.
Oh yeah, I told you I want to ride in that.
Yes. And then my LX600 review is live. And then I scheduled a ZR2. I got some other shit coming out, so stay tuned for that.
ZR2 Silverado?
Yes. ZR2 Silverado. And then I'm going to drive the Escalade V, so stay tuned for that. First drive.
Hell yeah.
And I got to go to the devil's asshole that is Phoenix. Sorry, all you Phoenicians. Actually, it's not summer yet, so it shouldn't be too bad. All the people in Phoenix are like, no, it's pretty fucking hot here. All right, that's it for this episode. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.